Hey guys, Th3 here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today we have our first crossover between two storylines, or between two naval architects. This is a crossing between the Osean storyline by Colonel Elfwyn, who sent in this scenario, and, of course, Darth Vendar with Miklos Horthy. All will be revealed in a bit. It's also for me the first video that I'm doing with the new core patch installed, which means I can design more ships. I'm not going to show you the design of all ships, because at that rate, considering I take about 15 minutes to design one ship, I would be well underway for an hour to design all my ships. And then I have potentially another 40-45 minutes to fight the whole battle. So I'm only going to show you the design of one ship. First up though, the story as sent in by Colonel Elfwyn. This one takes place after the last part from the Osean storyline where we, let's say we persuaded the Italians to take their fleet elsewhere. Seeing that the battle is lost, the remaining Italian ships hoist their white flags, signaling their surrender to Osean, and there is much fanfare as you return to Poti with your spoils of war. The sailors on board the captured vessels have been given quarter and put to work in the naval yard. Because of the overwhelming victory against the Italians, the High Admiral has, upon his return to Osean, promoted you to the rank of High Commander, noting that losing only one ship in trade for capturing 5 others is something most officers only dream about. It is then, he reminds you, that after fighting the Russians in the Caspian, he has said he saw a bright future for you, and you are making him an honest man. As damage to the fleet has been minimal, the naval base goes into build mode and begins constructing a battlecruiser to add to the fleet. We now skip ahead to June 1936. There's much celebration as the new massive dry dock is finished and well ahead of schedule. Your new battlecruiser has also recently been completed. Your new battleships arrived from the US a month ago, though much later than hoped, but the late arrival is a small price to pay for the 2 behemoths the US has sent. They're 55,000 tons each, sporting their 15-inch guns, including your new command ship, the Kestrel. The knowledge that both can comfortably fit in the new dry dock at the same time is icing on the cake. Also, the naval base in Poti has undergone some much-needed upgrades, including a new pier for ships as the fleet is slowly but steadily growing. The Italian sailors who were captured 3 years ago have found life in Osean very pleasant, and although all of them were offered a chance to return to Italy, 75% chose to remain in Osean because after 3 years it was easier to stay than it was to return to Italy. In the meantime, you've received word that ships have been spotted on the horizon flying the Austro-Hungarian flag, and that can only mean one thing: Admiral Miklos Horthy. Nevertheless, you and Horthy go back some time, so you set sail in the Kestrel to greet him. All seems well as you approach, until 3 separate explosions from the bow turrets shake the ship. As the smoke clears, you can see that the 3 bow turrets have been hit, but not destroyed. Though they were damaged, they are partially operable, and it will take some time for damage control to make them fully operational again. It seems like an eternity as your head swims with what has happened and trying to make sense of it, yet nothing comes to mind. You are brought back to your senses by a shell ricocheting off the bridge, which is where you are, and you feel something warm trickling down your leg. Fearing you've been wounded somehow, you look down and are slightly relieved to see that you've only pissed yourself. Instantly, your head clears and your instincts take over. The fight is on. Send that sack of barnacles to a watery grave. That is quite the intro. It's also the intro to quite the battle, because we have a very large fight ahead of us. My 2 battleships, battlecruiser, 8 heavy cruisers, light cruisers, are up against the Austro-Hungarian Empire's 4 battlecruisers, 8 heavy cruisers, and 10 lights. This is a lot of ships to manage, and also a lot of ships to design. Now, I'm going to be designing some of them. I'll take control over the design of the battleship and the light cruiser, but leave the heavy cruisers and the battlecruiser to the AI. Alright, there were some design requirements for this one. I need to build 2 battleships at 55,000 tons, and he says use modern battleship 1 with the hull form of +97. I will need to use unlock all, otherwise I cannot get that design. This now gives me a ton of options. Modern battleship 1 with the hull form +97. These are all the Dreadnoughts, modern battleship 1. Battleship 2 here. I think this is the one. Hull form plus 97. Maximum displacement, 55,000 tons. It is so comfortable to be able to just type that in. Speed, 28 knots. Again, typing it in. Minimum 6 6.6-inch secondaries. Increased super heavy shells have come with the ships. Okay, that's useful. Unfortunately, I cannot set that up yet, as I still need to set the rest of the ship. To simulate the damaged turrets, you may not fire at the enemy fleet for the first 5 minutes in game. This time starts when any Admiral Horthy ship fires its first shot. Applies to the Kestrel only. This is my command ship, the Kestrel. Okay. Heavily protected. Now we also have the new crew mechanics, so I can say what sort of tier they're going to be at. It is a new ship. I'm going to say this is a fairly green crew with standard amount of quarters. In case you're seeing this for the first time. Over on the right hand side we have battle control or battle stations crew. I need in my control 978. I have 856 as a minimum. So I have a bit of a margin, but as the ship starts to take damage you will lose crew. So that is something to keep in mind. Alright, let's set up the main towers. How exactly I'm going to fit on 15... Yeah, it needs to have 5 triple 15s? How? How is that going to fit on this hull? Because I can fit triple 15s up there and up here. But I cannot fit them farther forward. I cannot fit them there. How does Ilbrink expect me to fit this? Because this thing is pretty much full already. I can potentially push the whole superstructure forward. Just use this thing forward as much as possible. So that would be over there. Let's say I want to have another turret there and another one. Nope. Doesn't want to fit there. What if I go the other way? So I push one secondary tower back there as far as I can. Trying to fit a 15-incher between here is not going to work. It simply will not fit. Pushing this all the way back. It's probably going to lead to some aft weight offset issues. There. This is the only way that I can make it fit, but I have an almost 10% aft weight offset problem. That's pretty terrible. Oh well. Let's say these are diesel engines with oil to, shaft to, some auxiliary engine. Decent Bardet armor, anti-torpedo protection, double hull bottom, all or nothing armor scheme, anti-flood 2. There. There are super heavy shells with an increased complement, and I can now also set up what sort of shells and propellant I want. So I can set up the propellant and the shell charge. These are 15-inch guns, which in 1936 is... It's alright, but somewhat limited. Especially considering what the game can throw at you. Also, I'm going to have all sorts of trouble fitting the rest of the systems on this ship. Like, a lot of trouble. I will not be able to bring an enhanced reloader. I'll not be able to bring an acoustic system. This is barely going to move the needle at all. I'm going to keep it as a semi-balanced rudder. Again, in case this is the first time you're seeing this, check out the link in the description below, which is going to feature more about how this thing is going to impact the ship. Basically, you can go with a balanced rudder, which gives you a better turning speed, but less turning rate. So you turn faster. Here, let me show you. Down, no, not down. Where was it? Here, maneuverability. I now have a turning circle of 592. If I go for balanced, the turning circle goes up, but I change course faster in 24 seconds, as opposed to 57 seconds. Oh, sorry, 28 seconds. If you go for the unbalanced rudder, it turns to 33 seconds, your course change. So you change course slower, but when you do change course, you have a better turning circle. So these are the trade-offs. I'm going to keep it as semi-balanced for now. I guess I'm going to have to reduce some armor protection here. I also have to still fit in the funnel and then see... engine efficiency is decent. I also have to add 6 triple 6-inch secondaries. Right? Yeah. Minimum 6 triple 6-inch. Hello. Where do you expect me to fit all that then? Because the ship is having difficulty fitting everything as is. Ship is overweight. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Single hull bottom. Now keep in mind that this scenario was created before crew was an issue. And crew does take up space. So it's entirely possible that Ilbrink has created this scenario with testing. And that in that situation it actually worked. But now it doesn't. Because the crew is heavier. Okay, I would like to get better shell pen. And for the propellant, we can get cordite for more gun range, but less shell pen. Here, 11.5 shell pen, 12.5 shell pen. So now we should be able to pen most, if not everything. Yeah. Enhanced reloading is not an option. We're just going to be stuck with our base reload speed of 67 seconds. Which is an awfully long time. I'm going to have to strip off some armor belt. Because 15.5 inch is a lot. To reallocate it to some other parts of the ship. Because better reload? Nope. Radar too heavy. These things are going to keep me safe from the front. These 6-inchers. Hello, these 6... Game? What the hell? Oh, it's the armor bug again. There's currently a bug with the game. I'm not sure which armor section it is, but it starts impacting both the frame rate, because the game is now awfully slow, and I can no longer pick up any weapons. Well, these, but not the secondaries. And I don't know why. It is definitely a bug. This is not as things are supposed to be. Anyway, I have about 1,000 tons. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit radar nor an improved reload system. Courtesy of having those increased shells, because it's going to make it heavier. So I guess more armor. And considering that we have access to it now, I'm going to adjust the superstructure armor to ensure that the smaller guns from all their heavy cruisers and such are not going to be as much of a risk. I'll take 17.5 inches on the turrets, 8 inches on the turret top, and yeah, that's a plenty of protection. 10 inch of armor almost on the side of the 6-inch guns, so basically all the sides. Aft belt, a bit more. Fore belt is 7, aft belt is 7 as well. And the fore deck. Unfortunately, I cannot add anything to that. There, 17.8. Okay, I'll design the light cruiser off screen, and then we're going to go to battle. In case you're also playing the game and are also running the core patch, I have noticed that it takes an awfully lot longer for the AI to generate the rest of the ships. I'm not sure why, but it's, well, just the way it is. Anyway, we have our Austro-Hungarian Empire attacking us. Miklos Horthy has come after the Osean fleet. Time to make him go away. Now, the rules were to simulate the hit on my turrets on the Kestrel. The moment that I get any kind of gunfire from the enemy fleet, they immediately turn off the turrets. Because the turrets effectively get hit. Anyway, my fleet, the Battlecruiser Colorado has joined us. This is a battlecruiser with minimum bulkheads, cramped quarters. What a mess. 450 meter turning circle at 30 knots. Decent protection. They carry 14-inch guns in an ABX format, firing 2-powder TNT-4. giving them quite a decent amount of damage and a lot of penetration. Holy crap. 15,000 meter, 24.3 inch? That's almost similar to the 15 inchers. You can really make some serious changes with the amount of propellant that you take. My heavy cruisers are, well, I'm going to call them the Des Moines class. They carry 12 7-inchers as well as one single 2-inch gun, but it seems to be more of an afterthought than anything else. They are unfortunately minimum bulkheads. I'll merge these with this group, because I have a load of them. And we got the light cruisers that I designed, and they're all in separate divs. Yeah, I'm going to keep them separate. 1, 3, 1, 4. I do want even numbers in my heavy cruiser groups, though. The thing is, according to the patch log, there have been, well, changes, improvements, bug fixes to the way that the AI handles. But I'll see it, or I'll believe it when I see it. The AI is always a problem in this game. Because it is just very difficult to work with. Colorado, follow the... Yeah, you know what? You can join that div. It makes it easier to work with you. So we got Kestrel and Maryland and Colorado. Who's leading this? Tennessee is. See, it's just this crisscross nutjob of a formation. Who is part of your div? Kansas is over there. Virginia's over there. We got the Quincy back there. Memphis, go over there. Concord, take your division over there. You guys only have 8 torpedoes, so make them count. Has the enemy opened up? They have not. They are packing 18 12-inch guns. Interesting design. 26-inch guns. 16 8-inch guns. That must be their casemates. And of course they get 4 of these battleships. So they have plenty of firepower, but interestingly, they're fairly small, these guns. They're really not that much of a threat, I think. CLs, that way, please. Who's leading? Memphis is leading. Okay, Vincennes, get your butt over there. Normal formations. No, not loose formations. We got the Concord, we got the Reno, the Brooklyn, and the Detroit. Okay, that way. Bridgeport, lead ship here. I don't think they have spotted me. These are crewed by veterans, which is nice, giving me a 30% bonus to accuracy, 50% bonus to aiming time. Reloads less and damage control is better. Now you can see here that I have 100% control. So I currently have plenty of crew. But these are, well, they're standard quarters, so I probably have a bit of crew to spare. Let's see what other ships they brought along. So over here we have their heavy cruisers, armed with 8 8-inch guns. And that must be their second heavy cruiser div. There we go, they have just opened up. So that means that the Kestrel gets their simulated damage right now. So open that, this one, weapons off, current time 9:42, so at 9:37 I can re-engage the guns. Hopefully they're in range by that time. What else did they get? They get a ton of light cruisers. Interesting, with that turret right over there. Most of the firepower on the stern. They're carrying 10 7-inch guns. No visible torpedo launchers. Good. And there are a lot of these things. A lot of them. One of the heavy cruisers has spotted light cruiser Memphis. There. Okay. Interesting. Are the light cruisers in formation yet? Getting there. Detroit. Detroit is doing full speed. That's very comforting to see. Because more often than not, these things just don't do much. They'll lag behind, and they'll struggle to do much of anything. Like that. You see that light cruiser? This guy's basically dead in the water. This one is suffering from a formation bug. So, as much as this new patch brings, the formation bug is still very much in effect. Range 13.7, and the target's at 15 something. Okay. Most firepower is... it doesn't matter. ABXY format. So my heavy cruisers can just push in. Even though they're not very heavily protected. Minimum bulkheads. Now, I have 1 minute left in game until the Kestrel can engage her guns. That was the Maryland. Let's get this fleet to go a bit faster, shall we? 25 knots, because they're pretty quick, it seems. We're having some trouble intercepting that fleet. Now the objective: sink all battleships and heavy cruisers, losing fewer than 4 cruisers. What? And no battleships. Will force a retreat from Admiral Horthy's cruisers. Whoa. Okay. So I'm not allowed to lose too many cruisers. 4 at the maximum. Yikes. Now we have the Meteor over here. She's already taking some damage. She has spacious quarters but minimum bulkheads. 43.7 million for that ship. Still, my ship is 79 million. One of the things that I've seen in the editor is that if you have a high training level, that ramps up costs ridiculously quickly. So be very careful when you're designing with a budget. Now, considering that I cannot lose too many light cruisers and heavy cruisers, I have to be pretty careful with them. And I actually don't like that, because there are so many of them. And if they actually have to survive, it means that they're not going to be that useful when I actually put them to the fight. Thank God these battleships only have small guns. Because otherwise this would have been pretty painful. To say the least. Pretty painful. 12 clicks. Target that. Tennessee group. Target that. That's Tennessee, Kansas, West Virginia, and Quincy. I'm trying to get the light cruiser divs to start torpedoing their bigger ships. The Erzherzog Franz Ferdinand. Standard bulkheads. Costs 286.9 million. Very slow at 21.4 knots. Plenty of armor. 12-inch guns. And I have no idea how well I can pen those. What? Normally you get this pop-up that says, hey, you got this and this many chances to pen. There. But for some reason I'm not getting that when it comes to the battleships. Maybe because they're out of range. But that would be a change to the mechanic. Alright, considering this is probably going to be a pretty long battle, I want to speed things up. Because I do not want to make these several hour-long videos. Tennessee could be in trouble here, especially with her minimum bulkheads. Looks like the Meteor is starting to get some flooding on her. My battleships are pitching in, but I kind of doubt that they're able to get any kind of... Well, we are closing on the battleships, but they're not getting any shots on the battleships yet. What's your velocity? 650. Right. 650. My light cruisers, I only want to be firing high explosive from. Because with those 5-inch small guns, I really don't expect them to be able to pen much. but we do pump out a lot of high explosive, leading potentially to the demise of light cruisers by burning them down. These are the heavies, we can push those back in, especially considering their battleships are not in range. I really hope that the next patch, and this is going to sound strange, does not include the campaign. They need to fix this formation system. Because I have a ship here that's supposedly doing about 6 knots, the Meteor. She's god-awful slow, and, well, the rest of the fleet here... See, the Aspirin is their division leader at 17 knots. I think it's trailing or escorting the battleships. But then the Fasana is pretty far behind at 12 knots. The Sveshat is doing 8.4 and the Meteor is doing a mere 6. And that does not mean, or that does not come from her damage that she's taken, because she hasn't even flooded once. Or rather, she's not suffering from any flooding currently. See the two... Oh, there goes the Meteor. What the hell happened to you? Oh, you got hit by a 15-inch shell. And that blew up your ammo. Now that's great, but it's not actually what I need. Because I'm not here... Oh, great. Here we go again. Colorado. Supposedly doing 25, currently doing 12.3. Move. I don't need to sink light cruisers. I need to sink heavy cruisers. And I need to be able to... Oh, shit. I need to sink their battleships. These battleships. The ones that have just opened up on me. These heavy cruisers of theirs have sonar 3 in a pretty good turning circle. So the chances of me being able to hit something with a torpedo are limited at best. But nevertheless, I will pump some torpedoes in their general direction. If they're not heading away, which they are. To ensure that, well, maybe I can hit something behind them. We've only killed one cruiser so far. Fortunately, these guys are pretty easy pickings. The other heavy cruiser div still trailing as well. Vincennes has not yet launched her torps. She's very much in the edge of operational torpedo range. Now she's launched. Cincinnati, probably in the same position. No, she cannot launch yet, because she doesn't have a firing angle. Okay, I'm going to treat you as big DDs until the heavy cruisers have been diminished. Because right now, I'm just getting subjected to a ton of firepower, and I don't like it. We have range of 25. Ooh, that was a pretty big hit. Nothing critical's been hit, though. The 7-inch cruiser guns are returning fire against the 7-inch heavy cruiser guns. But the AI... This game could be so good, but the AI is holding it back. Please don't. Please don't. I mean, these light cruisers, right? These and these, they should be around the battleships. They should be the ones that are shielding the battleships from smaller ships. But they're simply not doing it. And meanwhile, the battleships are trying to hit something. And they can hit something at 23 kilometers. They're hitting the light cruisers. They can, just now, hit my battleships, but they're simply not doing it. Now, I don't want to sound ungrateful to the developers for getting us all this new content, all the new stuff, the new hulls, the new crew mechanics. It's great, but the the formation system is what's holding the game back. It's the AI. Div 3, eliminate the Hohenems. This thing is getting a lot of hits. There we go. That's one down. Two in. The other heavy cruisers are also quickly churning out shells. And this thing just gets eliminated. Look at that. The amount of damage that it's taking is actually fairly light, it seems. That's interesting. Can you pump out high explosive, please? Next target, models. I know I can kind of pen... No, I can't kind of pen this thing. Pen chance is only 22. That's why the heavy cruisers aren't doing that much. Because those 7-inch shells are pretty much ricocheting off the ship at all times. So setting fires and just causing damage to all sorts of systems is better. That's what I should be doing. Okay, my light cruiser group here is starting to come under attack. Concord, Reno, the rest of the bunch. Let me guess, you're not in range yet, Reno. 11-4 versus 11-3. Yeah, we're not in range yet. Okay, we need to get closer. And we're firing high explosive at a battleship now. Yeah, right. Well, chance to pen isn't that good. This might not actually be such a bad idea. Thankfully, these guys are only packing torpedo launchers on their sides. And the torpedoes don't have the... Well, now they do have the range. They're just not being launched against the heavy cruisers. Just look at the volume of incoming fire. Good lord. That is one unhappy light cruiser. Looks like... Yeah, their secondary tower has been destroyed. Their funnel is fine, but their 3 engines are out. Switch shot. Primary tower is hit, but not destroyed. Yeah, these guys can keep this up for a while, thankfully. I was wondering, when am I going to run out of ammo for these things? All heavy cruisers, focus fire on the models. Let's just eliminate it altogether, shall we? Again, it's not a primary objective, but I just need to get these guys out of the way. Still, this thing has taken 180 hits out of 3,000 shells fired at it, and it's still here. Come on. There we go. Structural damage, yeah, you don't say. Now we have a better chance to pen. That means that the Bridgeport division, as well as the Tennessee division, can acquire the target and hopefully pen it. Little bit of damage on the battleship, but really nothing serious. Nothing is going to kill her. Chance to pen is only 40%. Battlecruiser is going for the light cruiser? Yeah. It's not really a priority, is it? How are the guys doing over here? Well, they have inflicted some hits on the store. Not that many, though. And their battleships are unfortunately still just out of torpedo range. Smokescreen unavailable. Coming back up in 3 minutes. Alright, we're going to keep pushing. There goes the Sweatshot. The Fasana. Next one. Yeah, this thing just got melted by the battlecruiser. The battlecruiser inflicted a pretty heavy hit, and the rest of them pitched in with whatever 7-inch shells they could find. And again, the Fasana should be doing 18 knots. That does not even look like 18 knots. Well, her conning tower got knocked out. Your accuracy is going to drop pretty dramatically because of that. Keep moving in, because there is more stuff in the way. Concord, 2 minutes to smokescreen. Chance to pen, 10%. I suppose we're getting some hits on them, but... That's just not doing anything. 4%. Oh god. Okay, Fasana's down. Keep going. Smoke up. Do I want to make a dash towards their battleships? With this many heavy cruisers in the way? Probably not a good idea. Probably not that good of an idea. Okay, auto-select. Castrol. Where's your buddy? Why the fuck is the Maryland all the way back there? Because the Maryland's doing 17 knots. Fine. Ooh! Bridgeport got hit. Bad. By a torpedo. 3 torpedoes, in fact. So that's the first of the heavy cruisers that got lost. And also the first of 4 cruisers. Sorry, fewer than 4 cruisers, so effectively I can only lose another 2 before I run into trouble. Something big hit. Something big went up. I'm not sure where. Colorado, if you're targeting a light cruiser, do me a favor, use high explosive. Especially in your main 14-inch guns. Because that will be more than sufficient. I got a regular crew level. Accuracy's okay. Sankt George. Poor thing. Just can't go anywhere. But oh, actually, it's a heavy cruiser. Finally, we're getting to one of their heavy cruisers. And I need to sink all of those. Damn. The Kestrel just got hit by several of torpedoes. That is pretty bad. I've lost my rudder and 1 engine. And I'm flooding on 2 sections on the bow. Target the Lytha. Eliminate her, please. Before that light cruiser is going to do something similar. I think it was the Lytha that did that. Yes. Wow, you hit 6 torpedoes even. That's even worse than I expected. Get rid of that thing. Where are the light cruisers? My light cruisers are fine. The other light cruiser div is probably somewhere way off in the distance. But then again, seeing as I cannot really lose that many of them, I'm very careful with them. That's the Colorado. No, Colorado's fine. That one is smoking up. We're going to take out the Sankt George. I don't really see how I'm going to be able to punish 4 battleships with my 15-inch guns and sink all of these ships. It's going to take forever. A little while later, I have sunk some of their ships, and it seems like the heavy cruisers, for some reason or another, are doing a charge against the Maryland. I don't understand why, but this is what they're up to. They're just charging me. And considering that I need to eliminate all their heavy cruisers, this is actually pretty useful. In the meanwhile, my heavy cruisers have gotten into range of their battleship. And, well, they're trying to burn the battleship down, but with very limited effectiveness. Because I simply cannot put these fires up fast enough. And even if I do, it doesn't really do that much damage. Considering that the Tennessee got massive damage, I need to pull her back. I need to pull the whole division back, because I'm only allowed to lose 2 more cruisers. And what the Spalato is doing here, and the Wells, and the Mödling, I don't know. They don't have torpedoes. Their 8-inch guns are locked onto a battleship, but the chance to pen is pretty low, at a mere, well, less than 12%. So, while I finally get some action from the heavy cruisers, or rather some reaction as they're actually going on the offensive, it's a bit of a fool's errand. If they had torpedoes, I would be pretty worried about them, but they don't. So I can just easily pick them off one by one. And that is not the heavy cruiser that I expected to go down. That is my heavy cruiser. That was Tennessee. Pull the heavy cruisers back ASAP. Don't worry about killing the Maximilian, because you just can't. You just can't. It is too heavily armed. And too heavily armored. The rest of their heavy cruiser group and battleships are still, well, all over the place, but they have not enough ammo to fire. And even if they do fire at the Colorado, they can barely hurt me. In reverse, that's pretty similar. My chance to pen is 38, which is still 3 times as good as their chance to pen me. But overall, it's a fight where we both struggle to damage each other. There we go. That's the Spalato down. You're going to target the Wells. And the Wells is immediately taking a load of damage. This is not good. Oh, we have completely run out of ammo. All the all the heavy cruisers have run out of ammo. Oh lord. Okay, fine. Pull them back. Keep them alive and pull them back. This is why I generally dislike larger operations. Smaller operations, fewer ships, they make just better videos. They make more enticing battles. But these large fleet actions, they just... no. Look at this. The Battlecruiser Colorado has run out of ammo. It's done 4,200 damage, taken 492. But I can just pull this thing off the line, because it's effectively armed with less than a destroyer's armament. 3-inch guns and 2-inch guns. My chance to do damage with them is just none. Maybe at 1,000 meters against a light cruiser, but a light cruiser at least is packing destroyers, which is more than I can say. I'm getting nothing but ricochets on the heavy cruisers? How heavily armored are these? Not even that much. It's just a pretty sorry fight, this. Their battleships are running out of ammo, their battleships can't pen me, their heavy cruisers can't hurt me, my heavy cruisers can't hurt them. It's a weird fight. There, that's more like it. Anyway, I'm gonna have to start babysitting my battleships pretty seriously because, well, I'm still tasked with eliminating their battleships. Auto-select. I'll let you deal with the heavies here. Mödling should be down. Yeah, Wells is next. Maryland still has tons and tons and tons of shells. And taken very little in the sense of damage. So, reload the 15s. High explosive only. And miss almost every shell. Partial pen still deals a lot of damage. Chance to pen, about 70%. Let's switch back to armor piercing. 70% chance, that's more like it. There you go. That inflicted some nice flooding damage. Unfortunately, the Maryland's kind of being drawn away by the Wells. I cannot really go anywhere. I haven't checked in with my light cruisers in a while. How far away are you? Very far away. Any other lights? They're still kind of shadowing the rest of the fleet. The rest of the fleet that has run out of ammunition to such an extent that only the Erzherzog is still firing. The Ernst is babysitting its shells. Maximilian's even worse. Oh, guys, you need to design better ships. You really need to design better ships. A little while later, the battle is still raging. And, well, we're still very much struggling to do damage against each other. I'm able to damage the Klagenfurt substantially with the Kestrel. Kestrel is currently under fire from, well, basically anything. that they still have shells on, which is not the Erzherzog Franz Ferdinand, which still has no shells. The Ernst does. The Bohemia is out, and they have switched to their 8-inch guns. The Maximilian still has 246 shells. I'm thinking of approaching the battleships with my light cruisers, but then again, I will run into trouble with the 8s and the 6s, because my lights are so lightly armored that they simply can't get there. The Graz got torpedoed by the group all the way over there, the light cruiser group from the Reno, and while I am picking apart their light cruisers and their heavies, I still don't see a way forward against the battleships. And I hope that this is not a trend for the new patch, because if we are going to be struggling to pen each other this much, then I think something needs to happen about the balance. Something about the balancing between armor and pen needs to change. Because I'm getting this feeling that the cruisers... Sorry, not the cruisers, the armor has either been buffed too much, or the shell pen has been decreased too much. Or I just got unlucky, that's another option. But for now, it's a boring fight. Yeah, it's an okay fight, in the sense that I'm taking a lot of shell hits. I'm not taking a lot of damage thanks to the armor on the Kestrel. But it's just a slog. It's not that much fun. Because, well, we're just... we're so harmless to each other. And I know that sounds weird. But it's just like I can't hit them, or I can't damage them, they can't damage me. What are you to do with the fleet? What are we to do? Here. The Erzherzog, out of shells. Ernst, 186 left. Bohemia, out. Maximilian, out. They only got one battleship, or Dreadnought really, left with ammunition. Did they start with reduced? Nope, standard. Now it almost seems like the Panther and the Leopard are going for the Ram, which arguably would be an interesting way to do damage. I really don't want the Kestrel to get rammed, but it looks like the Panther is seriously going for it. I think those shells were not meant for the Panther, but I'll take it. Overpen, funnel destroyed. That's going to cut into engine efficiency. Turn! Come on. Jeez, you're close. 400 meters out. Get the mains on target. This is when I worry about my ability to turn the turrets, because I did not have any displacement left. I also have to worry about... oh, friendly fire! Oh, good. Okay, the Panther took all of it. The Kestrel did not get hit at all by her friendly. And the Panther took so much damage that her engines are out, her main tower is out, funnel's out, fire control is out. She's down. Thank you, Maryland. Let's now get the Leopard. My light cruiser seems to have issues. Ah, the Franz Ferdinand's in torpedo range. In fact, both of those are in torpedo range. Light cruiser group. Torpedo when you can. And after that, we're going to just bug out. Because my chance to pen... I can't even pen their superstructure with these light 3-inch shells. Nothing. I can pen, what's that, 3 barbettes or something? Against their light cruisers, I stand a better chance of doing something against their superstructure, but only 1.9%. That is all that I have. Now, I have lost 2 heavy cruisers in this fight, and the Austro-Hungarians have lost almost the entirety of their navy. So, despite my complaining about unable to do damage, I am definitely hurting them, albeit slowly. And they have not yet been able to sink any battleship of mine. The only damage that really came close was that from the torpedo hits against the Kestrel, done by a light cruiser. Come on, let's quickly eliminate the Graz. It's a good thing I came with more ammunition on this mission for the battleships, otherwise it would have been... well, I probably would have been out of ammo a few times now. There goes the grass. Well done. Okay. So we had torpedoes on the Erzherzog, which has detected them. From all the way over there? Wow. Okay, that's impressive. You got sonar 2 on there. Alright. This is one big target waiting to happen. Now, as we get closer, I'm hoping that the 15-inch guns can actually inflict some damage. Getting closer should be the way to go. Maximilian's out. Ernst is now also out. Yeah, all their battle cruisers, sorry, all their battleships are out of ammunition for the mini. Still, I'm getting a lot of blocked hits. Oh, we got a torpedo hit. 2 of them, in fact. 3. But it did almost nothing to the buoyancy. Alright, let's eliminate the light cruisers. I think those are the biggest concerns. Because they still have torpedoes, and they have proven that they're not afraid to use them. So let's eliminate Gamma and Aspirin. Secondaries on the Aspirin. Oh, another torpedo hit. This time around on the Ernst. Were you not paying attention to the warnings from the Erzherzog? There, torpedo in the water. Gamma, with her minimum bulkheads, should be going down soon. I'm also trying to come up behind her to some extent to avoid those side-mounted torpedo launchers. There goes the Gamma. Next is the Aspirin. And now I'm giving broadside to the Bohemia, but she only has 8s and 6s. Unless she's going to try and burn down the Maryland, she can't do much. Aspirin's down. Okay, so by my count, that's all of their heavy and light cruisers completely demolished. Okay then, let's focus fire on the Bohemia. No, not you. You can target the Erzherzog. Because as opposed to you guys, I still have my main ammo. Let's not try and burn them down, it is no use. Standard pens are the way to go. Even though we're struggling to get through. Secondary tower, over pen, mid-belt, pen. 16 damage. That's nothing. Get closer. Another salvo from the mains, please. There, ammo detonation. Structural integrity is starting to drop. Bohemia, however, not that bad. So I guess the Maryland's just gonna have to shotgun these things. And that way wipe them out. Now they're starting to take some more damage. They got multiple bulkheads on fire. Or sorry, subsections on fire. They have serious issues with flooding. Maryland has taken 1,600 hits. Despite that, and despite the ship looking like she's a bit toast, not like a lot toast, she's actually fine. It hasn't really taken any critical damage. So we push on. Erzherzog, structural integrity down to 45. I'm hoping I can eliminate their superstructure. Give me one blast of high explosive. Set some fires. Range 2 kilometers. Here we go, high explosive. Partial pens. There we go. Secondary structure. Or secondary towers out of commission. That means your damage control is far worse. And their crew complement is down to down to 75% of crew. But their control, which is also damage control, is still fine. I'm trying to reduce the crew using high explosive. And also hit their towers to do damage against their damage control, but it's not working. I need more. Kestrel? Kestrel is struggling. Alright. The control is still 100%. Flash fire, that helps. That helps a lot against their structural integrity. Their chance to pen me on paper is 49%, but that is counting the 12 inchers, not the 8s. The 8s, at a range of 1.6, so let's say 1, they have a pen of 23.7 inches. It means they can definitely hit and pen the superstructure. But mid-belt, not so much. 4-belt they'll also be struggling with to some extent, since it's angled. Why are we struggling so much with eliminating the Bohemia? Mostly ricochets. And the issue with this ship is pretty slow. After having a couple of one engine knocked out. You're flooding again. But my ricochet chance is getting progressively worse. I should have stayed side by side with that ship, not past it. More situations on fire, but... oh, the fire damage is now about a quarter of their damage. A third, even. Just the sheer amount of hits that I need to eliminate that ship is getting pretty nuts. This is what I mean when I say that I feel like I'm not doing as much damage as I normally would. Because normally, these ships would have eliminated their counterpart. Quickly as well. This time around, no. Pen. Good. How many turrets have you lost? 1, 2. 8 turrets fine, but since they're out of ammo, they don't bother. There we go. The Erzherzog is down. That's one of their battleships out of commission. Finally. No, that's not a good chance. Look at that. That was a 15-inch shell that did partial pen against their mid-belt for 13 damage. 13! This is more like it. 45, 46, 47. 50. Yes, please. Oh, if only I'd given them Maryland torpedo launchers. But then again, I was already struggling to get anything in this ship, let alone torpedo launchers. Kestrel, how's your fight going? That's better. Look at that. Holy shit, that's a lot of red. That's a lot of red. Still, there you go. Bohemia is down, extensive fire. The problem is, the Kestrel is now 20 kilometers away from the Maximilian, and the Maximilian is doing 16 clicks. Oh, sorry, 16 knots. I can't get there. Flash fire. I guess the Maryland's gonna have to mop up here. I popped their other turrets. Yep, B turret. These things are definitely taking a whole load of damage. They're on 1.2 currently, which is still less than the 1.6 that the Maryland has taken. Then again, I think it's mostly from... yeah, half of it's from fire. And with my maximum bulkheads and excellent damage control, it's not like they're able to keep that fire going for very long. The fire is going to very quickly die out. Come on, give me good low, below the water level 10. Nice blasting 15s. There you go, more flooding. Slow the ship down some. Slow the ship down some more. How fast the Ernst going? 17 minutes. Okay, good. Ricochet? At 900 meters, I ricochet? Good lord. Surely you can do better than that. Surely. 51.5. That's all I'm getting. 800 meters out. consider that I still have to take down one more battleship. Oh no.